gonna look like everybody rich.
He says, "Gonna look like everybody." Okay, so we have another question here. Do you think that we will ever get to the point to where we can? I think you already touched on that, where we can communicate without actually using the spoken word.
We already can. We already touched on that.
Yeah, that's what I said when I read that. Another thing is, will babies be? Will there be a need to actually?
Now, we will all be looking all over the earth, and we might say Mecca, or Jerusalem, or South Africa, or South America, Central America, North America. We gonna find the most holiest place on earth. And we all have these different opinions until you bring one thing up. And that one thing is this. The most sacred thing is the only thing that can generate life. It can cultivate the creation of life within itself. The most sacred place on earth is the place where God, essence, trickles down from higher dimensional realms into the 3D and brings us what we call sentient life. Whether it's a squirrel, whether it's an elephant, a bird, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The most sacred place on earth is the only way we can get life into the earth realm. So that will automatically tell you that the most sacred place on earth would have to be the woman's womb. So why would they, make sure y'all share. Make sure y'all share. Especially to the women. Because when you get to understand why they have you moving the uterus unnecessarily, it will make you talk to the other sisters in order that they understand, don't be hasty to remove it. Because the portal of life, there's only one way. There's only one entrance. There's a whole lot of exits, but it's only one entrance into life on earth for something that lives, and that's through the uterus. The uterus is carried in sacred symbols all over the world, and we warned about the respect of the woman's uterus by men and women. When you see the first major assault on the uterus before they started the mass hysterectomy campaign, they started poisoning tampons, giving women a condition called toxic shock syndrome, and it was killing them. Because you're not supposed to, for extended periods of time, hold the flow. Some women leave their tampons in for a whole day before they change it. And they don't go into the bathroom and allow nature to run its course and allow their body to breathe. That's not my place to teach y'all about that. That's y'all place to teach the inexperience, body experience. But there's certain things that they tell you when they want to remove the uterus. Now, all of this desecration of the woman in the feminine anatomy is reflected as desecration of holy sites in real time, or in what you call a sacred site. Now, when we say sacred, it don't just mean like religious-oriented spiritual. It just means a very important location. As you see, the World Trade Center is a very important location, and because so many people congregated there, it created what you call an energy center. The purpose of their congregating there was to move finance, trade, and so the energy that congregated there was reflective of trade. You tell me, India, I'm just delivering the message. If you see the elders, then you see the elders. And so, all of these earth sites are desecrated for a reason according to a ritual purpose. So, hey, how you doing, sis? So, we got bad news. You have a precancerous growth. Now, what do that mean? It's not cancer is what it means. That means that your body decided to grow something to alert you to something. Now, when the woman's spiritual essence is aligned and her physical body is healthy, she don't have uterus problems. They can't exist. Because the uterus is daily drawn in. When the woman is lined up, as I say, the way of the woman, when she lined up with the queen of heaven and earth, she can't get sick. Her uterus can't malfunction. It can't grow a glitch. You can't have a fibroid. You can't have a cyst in your uterus because there's too much healing energy running through the organ. Before the close of the age, which the age is closed, they wanted to have as many women uterusless as possible because the work required to reestablish the energy grid in the body of a woman without a uterus is intensive and is slow and it's frustrating. It's frustrating to the point where most women won't be able to accomplish it because they don't have the support system necessary to follow through with the necessary practice. Now, most women that get a hysterectomy, the first thing to go is sex drive because there's no natural function taking place in the uterus to stimulate the rest of her vagina in order to keep it healthy and functioning healthy. Therefore, it sends a signal to the brain that say, hey, my camera is not smudged. I watched it 1,000 times on another video. That's something else you're looking at. That's not the camera. That's what you call ether. Looking at ether. I'm talking to you from a higher place. Because I have to be guided by the queen of heaven and earth in order to get a correct understanding of why they want women to be without their uterus or without their memory glands at this time. And so she gotta make sure that if the energy really comes across on the camera, then I'm in the light under this situation like this. And she wants this to get across. That's going to scare the hell out of 90% of people that hear it. It's going to scare the hell out of them. Fear is the mechanism of the control. When the fear set in, it sends you to a mild state of panic or an extreme state of panic, but nevertheless the panic is there. Which confuses the decision-making process because you've never trained to make correct decisions under the pressure of drama. And the other thing that they tell you is you have a fibroid. It's not cancerous, but it's going to continue to grow. And as it continues to grow, it's going to cause problems, so you're going to have to just take the uterus out. Now, you have other ones that they tell you uterine cure. When you can talk properly as early as possible, then you're going to have none of those problems from anything that you're not doing correctly physically. The only thing left doing is to balance your emotions so that the God force can come through the uterus and engulf your body. Once the women start understanding this, they'll stop getting physically ill. They have to start forming the sister groups where they sit around and talk about opening the portal of life with the intent of filling the room with what they call the Holy Spirit, which is the direct energy from the Queen of Heaven and Earth, what we call it the love of the divine. He will drive a weak man totally insane and make him dive off a bridge. For real. He has to train himself mentally, physically, and emotionally before he can assimilate that energy or you will go fucking nuts. And so they take that out and they never tell you that there's a method that they teach in the East that will help you reorient your energy, because the energy body is still there. Just like when somebody get a leg or arm amputated and they have what you call fractured limb syndrome. That means they can still feel the limb even though it's not there. The reason why they can still feel the limb is because the energy grid that the DNA is projecting is still there. So the science of it is, by meditation or practice, you need to reorient the energy grid, awaken the energy grid in your physical body from the higher chakras up. You respect the energy grid as if the organ is still there. Now, as you start to reorient the energy grid of the uterus, what will then start to take place is you will start to receive your drive for sexual function back. You're going to need a release, but it needs to be done in a particular manner. But when I do, I have to tell you about it. I can't get into the intimate details of it right now. But the business is supposed to teach this to the women that been through the hysterectomies, the ones that they snatch their quarter of life out. Now, there's something that you do when you hide. It's called jumping. And it works like this. When you put the group of women together, and you have one that had a hysterectomy, her energy grid is broken at the uterus, which is actually your second chakra. If you look it up on your chakra system. Well, the other women will tie an older woman to a prepubescent woman or girl uterus, so that when her uterus functions, it's functioning for both of them. And they all do is use the manpower. But once they open up, once the group of women understand that they're opening up a direct contact to the Queen of Heaven and Earth, she's going to instruct them personally what moves to make in that state. Like, I don't always know what I'm supposed to tell people. But she said, prepare not what you will say, for at that very moment the Holy Ghost will rise up and speak through you. So when I say this is the topic, I don't know which one of the references I'm going to pull up to give you. Because I might talk about the same topic 10 times and give you a different reference every time. Because it has to come from a higher place. This can't come from my opinions, nothing that my ego can hold or tie down. So in order to get the information across, when y'all put them women in that group, hide, make it a conscious decision that all of y'all generate an energy field of the Holy Spirit, what they call the mastermind group. See, they've been using it in secret behind y'all back. They've been using it in secret behind y'all back, using harlots to bring in the unholy ghost. I'm telling you what they've been doing. We have to flip the grid. And I'm giving y'all as much as I can give y'all as the time go on, but we're running out of time because other people don't want to make the move so we can go ahead and get this stuff cleaned up. So I have to start telling y'all, all of the women, no men allowed inside the group while y'all hiding. It will throw the energy off and somebody can physically get hurt from the energy being thrown off by male energy being interjected into a hiding group of women, including male children. That means daddy got to take his son while mama and her sisters go hide. They have to sit there and they have to feel the Holy Ghost energy coming in. This is why they have you holding hands in church. It's practice for now. It's practice. They don't do it in the Catholic Church because it's not a Catholic rite. It's African and Native in origin. The holding hands is not a Christian thing. That's not part. Go look in the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is where Christianity comes from. They don't do holding up the hands. You have a portal, a positive and a negative portal in each one of your hands. Depending on the left hand or the right hand and how they flip your brain. So those joining the hands is opening up the energy to go through everybody in the room. They got y'all doing it, but they're not telling y'all what's the purpose, so you can't harness the energy correctly to use it correctly. It's basic energy conservation in physics. Now, why are they having these women unnecessarily remove the mammary gland? It's psychological, which affects you emotionally, which brings your spiritual vibration low. Right? So it affects her mind, body, morphism. They call it body dysmorphism. How you see your body. When the woman doesn't have her adornment as a woman that she once seen, and this is why everybody have a different proportion. Some women are bigger than other women in the breast. This is the law of nature. It's called the law of variance. It's the same thing, but in different degrees. And so, the woman get used to seeing herself in her most beautiful form, having her mammary glands intact. Now they're telling you because you have what they call a lump. You need to have your breast removed. Never telling you that your milk ducts are part of your lymphatic system. And your lymphatic system gets clogged up. And the body has to move. They restrict your bosom with a bra. They have you put the bra on to hold it in place. But they never tell you by holding it in place, you cause your lymphatic gland in your mouth become stagnant. You need the movement. So you're supposed to wear a bra all day long. I don't care how big they is, they need the movement in order to get the toxins out that ends up becoming the cyst, that ends up becoming the mass. This is what they're not telling you. You can avoid all of that. Keep your vitamin D and your vitamin C and your magnesium. Excuse me, I have somebody trying to interject, just like the damn devil. Okay, so now, when they destroy that body image of beauty of self, it destroys self-esteem. It takes a very powerful minded woman with a strong support system, especially of other women, to be able to remove her mammary glands and not fall into a deep state of depression that may not be bad enough for her to commit suicide, but is bad enough for her to never be happy again for the rest of her life. Just bad enough to never find happiness again for the rest of her life. So proper mammary health involves the woman massaging her own mammary. She should be taught this in her developmental teachings in her rites of passage program, that she has to periodically keep the muscle tissue massaged in her own, you know. When I was a little boy, I used to see women touch each other. People don't touch each other no more. They knew how to keep each other healthy. Humans need human touch. But we're not allowed to touch each other no more. You're getting in my space. Humans need human touch because we jump energy for a reason. We humans, we pack animals. Now, we more than pack animals because the pack the setup of the pack, when the energy grid is open within the home by the girl or the woman and her daughter doing the feng shui in the house, when that energy grid is set, there ain't no place like home. You ain't gotta worry about having to go looking for no man if the house is intact. He won't stay home if the house not intact. If you're not keeping the energy balance at home, he's not gonna want to be there. But if the energy balance at home ain't where he'd rather be. You know, even though we gotta go out and make a living and all that, if the woman keeps the energy balance in the home correct, there's no better place for a man to be. He ain't happier nowhere else. And what we see in the desecration of the woman, when we understand that the uterus is the most holy place on earth, represented in every religion, spiritual system, and doctrine around the earth, with every reminder possible to never let us forget that the portal of life, nothing comes into this reality that don't come through the womb. Even this reality is born within the womb of the great mother Tawaret, that we call the zodiac. And her cervix is what we call the all-seeing eye of the zodiac, the red center. That's her way. That's the way home. And when the women understand that there's certain mystic rights that they try to keep from y'all, I'm gonna give y'all all. As soon as we set these centers up where y'all can learn y'all shit, I'm gonna give it all back. I found out where it's at, who put it there, how long it's been there, how they got it from them, and who they killed to get it. All you need to know is what to do, and you'll know everything you need to know. Because your sister CASHAPP, she's sitting there twiddling her thumbs, waiting to give y'all the information to clean this shit up. And she got her big sister Karma with the whip cocked back. She gonna pop somebody on their ass as soon as y'all unleash the dragon. But everybody got them held back because they don't want y'all to know about the reason why they killed the uterus. They don't want you to have it. But you don't know that it's energetically still there and has to be reconnected. Now, some women that is on the path to recovery from it can benefit from what they call the semen of the gods. That's a whole nother practice. When you're learning about just the usage of the sexual energies and the processes of healing, how it works, and how to use it. But you can't tell people about that shit right now because they think you fucking crazy. Talking about you can heal somebody with sex energy. And anyway, the most powerful usage of sex energy is a collection of women, open mitochondria. Now, I can't never stress enough how important it is to know about the mitochondria, because the mitochondria is the energy receiver and transmitter of the Holy Spirit. It collects the love essence out of creation, turns it into a usable form, and then it injects it into your DNA to give you life. In its raw state, they just call it the love energy or the grand ether or the great ether. And this is what keeps all of the darkness away. See, all of the gloom, the stuff that evil, unstoppable forces always holding you down, it can't exist in their presence when those women do that. You know, all you need, look, they got women that know what they're doing. They got women that know what they're doing that have covens already doing it, what I'm talking about, but it's not enough of them. And then some of them are hesitant to go out and teach other women because y'all think when you hear the word witch, Wicca, witchcraft, that means some evil, wicked stuff. That ain't what it means. It means that the woman reading this coven has become wise as the old crone witch. She's the old wise woman. The crone witch, or the crone is the old wise woman, and she's learned how to hide women, the coven. She knows how to read these women together in the coven and balance all of their energy as she raised them up spiritually to be able to go out using what we call the civil effect. With a balanced mitochondrial radius dynamic to go in and affect other women in order for, like, you know, when you was in, like when you be in preschool and you having fun with the toys and you playing with the other children and all of that, that feeling of carelessness, of no worry, no concern, that's the energy that the women generate in that state. So as long as the more y'all that they can keep off balance, there's ways you can heal. The fibroid can be dried up. The cancerous mass, 9 out of 10, if it's cancerous, they gave it to you in one of their exams prior to that in the culture, and it grows. 9 out of 10, your gynecologist gave it to you. That's why you need to get back to it. They don't even know. They thought they probably gave you some kind of lubricant, but they gave you cancer because it's a culture. They grow it in the laboratory. It's not normal. It's not natural. That's why the uterus is constantly flushing and causing the discharge on a daily basis. Even if you don't get off your ass to clean it, it'll clean itself. Even if you don't get off your ass to clean it, it'll clean itself. And if it can't clean itself fast enough, it'll close up on you. You won't be able to use it until it get done cleaning itself. But when we start realizing that you are deliberately being poisoned to give you complications for them to remove your uterus, you are deliberately being misled about the understanding of what your mammary glands are and how they work, in order that you can avoid ever even having a lump of what they call a mass, a lump, a fibroid in your mammary gland, the desecration of the holy site. Now, when you know that the uterus is the most holiest place on earth, that means the most holiest site on earth would have to be the woman, because she's the only one that can carry and hold the uterus. She's the only one born with it. They can do all the sex change operations in the world. They will never create a portal of life that works. And they can create a whole lot of artificial things, but it can only draw from what's already present. The portal of life, a baby grows in the uterus like a tree, by growing roots into the wall of the uterus. Think about that. The same principle of energy transference from the soil into the tree is the same principle of umbilical cord to the child. The umbilical cord is just the branch or the trunk of the tree that send all of the nutrients to the leaves, the baby. And it's all hooked together through a series of networks of nerve cells. And these cells they call stem cells. The stem cells get the instructions based off what's encoded on the DNA. And everything encoded on the DNA is encoded using binary code. They already know this. They've been keeping and publishing the developments and discoveries in the DNA for years. I have my hard copy of the Mendelian inheritance in man, where it goes through what everything on the genome is. So I got direct access to tell you what it is. A lot of the geneticists only specialize in one thing, and this is a whole other part of genetics that they don't study. So then they become one-sided, and then we can give you part of the information, and this is part of how they keep the rest of our minds slowed down, because we got to get fragmented information from broken pieces of shattered information. And when we start putting it all together, it started to make sense. It started to say, this is the only reason why we ain't in power right now. So when you look at the assault on women, you can watch it play out in real time as assault on holy places on earth. Every time you see a witch hunt, look for them to destroy a monument, a massive religious related or a massive structure get destroyed when they start heavily persecuting the women. It get destroyed. Now, in the beast, when they was saying they was going to try to shoot and take this final move to power, to hold on beyond the closing of the age, they had to put us on notice. There had to be 3 major destructions of a particular type of structure. This is going to let us know at what direction they're coming from. So they have to give us a means to discover that they're about to attack, that they're about to make a move for power. So now I will have to give you 3 directly related things in history in its last few years that show you them telling you that they're going to make this move for power in symbolic fashion, destroying icons in order
Does every state has an OG that we all need to check in with, God? Uh, Most of the places got an OG, but right now all of them not identified because we not fully in power. Once we get back in, we're gonna know who to check in with. Like they're gonna be a network of matriarchs that's gonna be communicating with each other to let them know when somebody of significance is coming to the area for security reasons. It's gonna be a little bit different than it is now, especially when we first flip this shit, because a lot of it is gonna be new to us again. All right. So the sister wasn't able to join. I'm gonna see keys. Come on with the keys, keys.
That's crazy.
Man, I love your dreadlocks already, dog.
I appreciate you, man. Man, it's good to hear from you.
That's one thing I'm always envious of the brothers with the dreads, because I gotta get some treatments done on my scalp before I grow them.
Hey, and it's funny, I'm a barber, so I always supply everybody with all the different stuff to do with your locks. Man, just everything natural. Just everything natural. That's it.
One question I gotta answer. She says the lady chiefs too. It's probably gonna be more women chiefs than it is men. We had both, and we had under the matriarchal system. We had a whole lot of female chiefs that had feathers, full regalia feathers. So we not patriarchal people. We matriarchal by nature.
Mhm.
So come on with it, blood. What's on your mind today?
Oh man, man, a lot. But you've hit a lot of different points. But one of the main things I wanted to kind of find out, what is that process looking like? I'm not sure if you went over it already, but what is the process looking like of getting him out? You know, and what do you think is the most effective way for us to be able to help that process? Because I'm gonna try to do everything I can with my platform, you know, and everything. Yeah.
Okay, so when we get enough of the people from the land to say Freelay Hoover, they already agreed. They just waiting on us to get that number. I don't know what the number is.
Okay.
But they waiting on us to hit a certain number of people on board with Freelay Hoover, because a whole lot of stuff is encapsulated with that.
Okay.
While we doing this part, you know, they trying to tell him, well, you can go, but this one gotta stay. He ain't, no, we all going. And you're not finna make us pick between each other no more. We not doing that shit no more.
Okay.
Ain't no big eyes and no little U's. And the best thing we can do, each one teach one. Get the word out, get on our platform, explain it to people so they understand that the chiefs of the land has been on the land, but they've been incapacitated by a rogue system.
Okay. Okay. You called them what are they? Skin. You said skin. What did you call them? The individuals that are intruding right now.
Oh, you talking about the ones that look like us that ain't us, to trust me more.
That's crazy.
They came over as conquistadors.
Yeah. That's
in
crazy.
Rain. Yeah.
All my paths kind of led here. That's wild. Okay. I've been studying this before I ran into you. Just studying what happened with the Moors and studying what happened with just the Aboriginals of the land. Because my people from Mississippi. So we, I found out I'm Blackfoot native. And I'm like, man, I went through all my family line. I'm over here trying to get my family. We still got over 50 acres of land in Columbia, Mississippi. I'm trying to figure out what we got to do to just harness this thing on down and just in totality. So hearing what you're saying, I'm hearing, I got information. I was studying C.L. Freeman and just different individuals who talk about.
Yeah, Freeman Hill is the truth.
Man, like, man, that's why I'm saying all my roads led here. And I'm just trying to do whatever I can, bringing all my people together, bringing all my boys together. I'm from LA. I actually grew up in Inglewood. So, like, it's crazy, like, learning so much about what happened with my family and then just, like, seeing other people and then just seeing different people's faces now. You seeing how common we all are, you know what I mean? And it's just blowing me. I'm a young boy trying to learn this thing, so. You know.
Well, once this shit flip, we're gonna be having classes. All the other tribes is gonna be orienting everybody to the particular tribal rules and the culture across the
Okay.
land. So, like the chiefs on the land, we all fall. We got our own tribe, and then we got the tribe that we fall up under from birth. Like I'm a GD, but I'm also Chief Pontiac, local clan, right?
Okay.
So I got the distinction because the Chief Pontiac was out of commission when the lot came up for us, right? So I
Okay.
had already traversed the land, right, and went around and picked up the keys from the different cultures on the land.
That's crazy.
So this how Larry and them able to win talk with me, flip me signs and flip me messages
That's,
from an enclosed location like that.
and then, man, that's deep. That's crazy. Okay. It's real crazy because I'm learning all this stuff, and at the same time I'm having life experiences. I'm like I got spoke to directly, you know, by a woman. You know what I mean? The voice was like real subtle, and she just basically was just saying that like um, that you know you're a heroic being from a different from time ago, and basically that is many here like you, and that y'all
It's a
about to
lot. It's a
basically
lot more than yeah. So we
yeah
had all of the
boom.
masters have to be here now. You surprised how many? It's not supposed to be this many of us on the land right now. The fact that it's this many of us on the land mean the problem was horrible,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So it needed all of us, and we all got to look at the problem how we see it, and then one of us got to be able to put it all back together, right? So just like they shattered us and scattered us, when all of the pieces reassemble, we like transformers.
I see. Okay.
So now the information part is where we at now. Inform, organize, organize. Inform, organize, organize. I
Okay.
got all the receipts. The motherfucker can say I'm lying, but they can't. They can go argue with them receipts I got.
Man, that's crazy. Okay, so well, I want to do my part. Like I said, I'm a barber out here. This is not on my page, but I'm actually getting ready to open a shop like downtown LA area. So I need to figure out who I need to check in with, because you know that all that matter, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Once
and it's
you
you
know
know,
the area you in.
well, I'm gonna be predominantly downtown, kind of off of 8th and Main, like around that area, around the Fashion District. So
What when you know what set you on, you know you greet one of them brothers with respect. Respect, bro. I'm not from your clique, but I need to check in with the OGs over here so they know I'm on the land.
okay, yeah, so I grew up by the forum, so all my family was like neighborhoods and all that. So I got to figure out who I need, you
Yo,
know.
if you already from over there, you ain't got to check in. You already know who your OG is. It's his job to make sure that he communicate across. Let's say, for instance, you rolling 60, you finna go to rolling 20 territory. It ain't nothing to call your OG. I need to cross the rolling 20s, man. I don't need no smoke. I need you to give him a heads up. I'm coming through town.
Okay,
All love when you come through. No disrespect, all love. The problem come in is they taught us to not have any respect one for another.
yeah, no, that
So
man,
we don't want to do stuff like that.
exactly, exactly, and
You
that's
know
why I
what I'm
wanted
saying?
to.
But it's just common courtesy.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That was my whole point, because I'm coming back. I'm gonna be going back home, so I'm like, I need to just go make sure. You know what I mean? I don't know the movement. I don't know what it is right now, because my pops
So
got
look,
us
let's
out of
say
there.
for
So
instance you go back to Mississippi to visit.
yeah,
All you got to do is find out who the old lady is in the family, and you check in with her. She gonna make sure everybody that need to know you there, and you on her watch. She gonna make it known.
okay,
You know.
all right, okay. And then yeah, I mean, I got a lot of questions for you, but I know you got stuff y'all gotta get done. So I'm just here for it. Whatever we gotta do.
All right, just
I'll check
keep
on in.
watching. We gonna answer some more questions before we end it.
All right, for sure. I appreciate you.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah.
telling us. But if you ain't one of the chiefs, you don't know what the fuck Noble Drew Ali really talking about.
Bars. What's up with it, Superior Minds? What you got for us?
Peace, peace. What's up, family? Peace to
Peace,
the panel.
beloved, peace.
Peace, peace, Chief. Brother, I appreciate you coming through, man. Man, I listened to one of your bills for the first time, and tonight I'm listening to you, and you saying some things that I could correlate with and relate to because I've heard them from other people or I've either researched them. But there are some spiritual things that you said that I know. I said there's no way that he got that from a man. That's something that he's gotten from a download. And one of the things that stuck to me was when I heard you say Conjure Wars, and you went into it, but you only dropped about 2 or 3 clicks on it. So my question for you tonight is, if you could explain to the audience to help the American Indian community understand what exactly the Conjure Wars are and how they are fought. Is it a physical war? Is it a spiritual war? Is it a war that's spiritual in its word, or is it a combination of both? And if you know who some of the players are in that war, physically, can you drop the family some on that? Appreciate it, brother.
So, yeah, that's a good, excellent question. The Conjure Wars is fought between practitioners of varying different styles of voodoo and sorcery. The Conjure War that we was under, Feathers versus Fezzes, was a amnesia war that was fought by us having to struggle for enough knowledge to overcome the confusion as to who we really were. The agreement, the players, all of the fezzes that was surrendered for the Conjure War are lined up in the George Washington Memorial. You can see them online under images if you pull up George Washington Memorial Fez Museum. And it's going to show you the fezzes, and those are the names of the people on the fezzes that challenged us to a Conjure War. And if you pull up the Pope's most bloody oath, that was their agreement with the Pope to murder the kings, the chiefs, the kings, the princes, and the people of the land, which was us. If you pull up the George Washington challenge, it comes up and it leaves the feathers out of the challenge because it was us that had to discover who we was in order to reclaim our birthright to restore the land, air, and the water. The discovery came in from my part from being a witch doctor and knowing sorcery and being commissioned with compelling all of the sorcerers who had open conjures to close they conjure, which brought me to the teachings of Noble Drew Ali. If you look up Voodoo Cult of Islam, you will see there was newspapers back in the 1900s about the Moorish Science Temple being involved in voodoo. Now, when I started putting the pieces together, it didn't make sense because I'm always been taught that the enemy looked at like paleface. I never knew that the Conjure War between us was for one of us to know which side of the water we originate from and where they came from to get here. This is in the George Washington challenge, right? Then they have the secret oath. All of these are documents you can find. The secret oath goes through all of the shit they was going to do to us. The government is ran according to a book called The Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. This is the principles of oppression that is the doctrine of white supremacy. It's a military strategy to use a cat's paw to conceal who the real power players is by giving you Plato's Republic played out in a stage show. So we had to become educated enough where we surpassed them in knowledge so that we can realize that we was already here. We didn't come on ships. We organic to the land, and we wore feathers, and the invaders, conquistadors, blackamoors, the black nobility came after exile. They wore fezzes and turbans. So now we over here in a perpetual, what they call protracted struggle to remember who in the fuck we are. And I'm here to remind us that we wore feathers, they wore fezzes, we won, they lost, they have to leave, and we cool.
That's a absolutely, bro. That's fire. But that's some clarification. Like I said, that's some things you drop spiritually that I catch personally, and I know that you can only get them. You have to be in touch with some sort of higher master teaching. It's not coming from a physical man. So when I say that, I'm saying two people can look at a document, right, at the same document, and what one person gets from reading that, they gonna see one thing, but then the spiritual eye is gonna see the same thing that the physical eye sees, but then be able to tie that to the presence of a being, a real live sentient being. That's another level of it. So when I heard you speak again on the conjure war, and then just some of the things you were saying, I said, okay, you came on the show. I said, I was going to ask Top, man, can he go a little bit into that so that the family could get an understanding that it is a war of words. And the book, the Bible, is good and it's bad. It's a gift and a curse, but you have to have the eyes to see it because it's coded like that. Everything they do on this continent right here is in there, but you have to go through so many sources and layers to get to it, and you have to be willing to have a spiritual eye. If you ever try to approach it like that physically, you'll miss it, right? I heard you say cat's paw. So what I've understood the cat's paw is the same thing as the lion's grip. That it's the same presentation when a brother in the brotherhood, they meet a brother. So the cat's paw, but then that's even looking at jaguar, the ancient culture of Mesoamerica, the jaguar, and the science behind the jaguar.
The jaguar is in over here is the same as the leopard in Africa, and in the Far East India, and the jaguars are the pelts that the priests wear to identify them clearly among the people when they in traditional native garb. Where you have the stealth priests, these are warrior priests. They use conjure wars. They wear the Black Panther pelt because they are a war priest. So the priesthood is broke up into functions and functionality. The jaguar priests are the ones that deals with the most social issues. The stealth priests are the ones who deal with the spiritual warfare aspect. And when the spiritual warfare becomes physical, they are the advisors to the chiefs on how to approach warfare. So Tupac give you the flip Machiavelli. Machiavelli was the advisor to the Medici, and he wrote The Prince. So Tupac becomes the advisor, Panther priest, to one that he's saying, we need guerrilla tactics. When you call for guerrilla tactics, you call for the next guerrilla clan to come in behind the Panther clan. They show it in Black Panther, the movie. The guerrilla clan don't want to be the clan to rule, but before they let these foreigners rule, they'll take the power. The gorilla grip is the master grip. The lion's paw is the master grip, but when you say cat's paw, you're saying something different. A cat's paw is you use somebody to do your dirt so that you can't be seen for the dirt you do. And that was the great con game they was using on us. While they was using their understanding of the stars to map when we was coming back so they could murder us, we didn't know this was taking place in the Masonic lodges of the Scottish Rite. We didn't know. Noble Ali went in and discovered what they was doing was using voodoo on us and telling us voodoo was evil. And then the greatest defense for voodoo is fucking voodoo. You can't win a voodoo war if you don't use voodoo. That's spiritual warfare. It's being able to call on the lower spirits of the earth to come and aid you in restoring balance to nature by restoring the affairs of man to their proper order as a matriarchy. You won't notice if you can't read the energy signatures of the earth. They call that
Wow,
tapping the Akashic record.
wow. That's interesting. You said about the you mentioned about the CASHAPP. What do you think about when we look at the Florida Panther, right? What they would call the Florida Panther, which some biologists they label it as a cross between a African leopard and a indigenous jaguar. But in my research, when I looked at the range of it, right, from where today, where it's from historic today to where it go all the way back to 1800. It's ironic that the same place is that all the tribes were. It's ironic that that's the same place that the range of the panther was, or the jaguar was. But what they have now is what they call a panther, which is just a genus class of it. It's not really the species. So we call them black jaguars, but they're labeling it as a leopard and or a hybrid mix between that African leopard and a
No,
jaguar.
we've been had black jaguars over here ever since jaguars been here. They pop up
Correct.
periodically in the species naturally. The same way that the black leopard is the black panther from Africa, right? It's still got spots, whether it's a jaguar or a leopard, but it's just black because of its function in nature. It serves a purpose, but the priesthood of the jaguar hold that sacred secret about the purpose of the black jaguar, right? I gave you the exoteric version of the stealth priests and advisors to the chiefs. The black leopard is from Africa. The black jaguar is from over here. And both of them are called black panthers. We also get black cougars over here. The ironic thing about a black cougar is it got spots like a jaguar. But the regular cougar don't have spots normally.
Right. That's a good question. One more question now. I want to hog it up, brother. What do you think about and because this is just a topic that I've been working on for like the last month, and to go back to what like you said about places you go, we think we've been there, we haven't been there, we're the first ones to be there, and truth and reality is spiritually when you look at it, it's just an ancestor. We're just walking in the footsteps of our ancestors.
We
So
are ancestors coming back to restore what we fucked up before.
right. So with that being said, I look at the length of time I've been here, and I'm in Central Florida, but I've been in Florida more than half of my life. And my people want me to move, but it's something about this land that I have a connection to, and I'm gonna tell you why real quickly. When I got ready to get out the army in 2002, right? My wife called at the time I was married. She's just messing around. She called a tarot card reader, and long story short, what the lady told me, she says that I see you around. You're gonna be surrounded by water on three sides. I had never been to Florida. I moved back to Atlanta. I moved to Florida 2 years once I got back to Atlanta, and I've been in Florida ever since. But I stayed close to the beach, and I'm a Scorpio. That's my sun and ascendant. So I've been surrounded by water on three sides, but it's something about the land, and I've always been in this area of the Timucua people. But just recently, that study resonated with me, and I sat and meditated on it. Even just going through it, I took my time with it, and I've been there where these people have been. I see that, I could sense that spiritually. So my point is that with those people, do you think that the descendants of those people, some of those people, are still here in this region today, and that this theory that they are dead as a tribe is false? What's your take on the Timucua people and their ancestry?
Well, shit, they've been there longer than the settlers. Listen, those are parts of those tribes that fought in the Seminole War. They just call us Seminoles to indicate that we was mixed up from among the tribes across the land. We got a rich culture down there. The culture is written on everything down there. You can't hide it. We used to walk the trees from Florida to Louisiana without ever touching the ground. Those were the Skywalker clans, right? They burned down the trees and chopped them down because they couldn't get us out of the thicket. We used to run in the water. The alligators wouldn't attack us, but they would attack them. So they started baiting the alligators with our babies. This is what was going on the land. And they needed the alligators to develop a taste for our flesh because they wouldn't attack us, but they would attack the invaders. We used to ride alligators down the river. They swim us all the way down the river. Tap him with the stick, and he'll roll to the bank and drop your ass off and go about his business. Once the invaders came, we can't ride alligators like that no more. The Sobek priestess has been spoiled by the invaders because that's the priesthood that used to ride the fucking alligators. And they had a Sobek priesthood in Africa, where the crocodiles are. The crocodile was sacred over there. The alligator was sacred over here. So all of our culture is written all over the land, but they've given us misdirection as to what we see. You see that, but that's not what it means. That's the bullshit they run on us.
Damn,
But
that's heavy.
those people been there, man. Been there. They lived in trees and shit. Literally, like, build your house in a tree. And they built roadways that you could walk on with rest stations for you to have guest quarters, and all of the big mamas would be lined up at intervals because they know how long you're gonna walk before you get tired and need to rest and eat. They chopped all that. That's what all of the lumberjack legends is about. Them chopping the trees down on our land in order to overthrow the people, because we intimately connected to all of the nature of the land we from.
Yeah, that's on point though, because that with the Temuca people, man. And even when I did in my study, what I saw was they demonized the the Temuca people and said that they ate alligators like that often. But being down here, if you ever lived in Florida, people just used to it. It doesn't freak people out. They're just part of the community. Regular people down here, we don't get freaked out by seeing alligators. That's just what looked like a nice little lake. We just know, okay, it look to the outside, it look like you can go swimming in there. But your ass get off in there, and then you're gonna be a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but it's strange that when you mentioned the part about there was the jaguar there, and then the crocodile here. I found a picture of a jaguar, feasting on a crocodile down in South America. They hunt them, right?
Yeah.
So that's crazy that you said that, and I made a meme with that, with the jaguar snatching the fucking crocodile up out the water, biting him on the back of the neck. So that's on point though, fam. That's on point spiritually. I can agree with you, man. I ain't no young buck in this, and I use wisdom and discernment. I have my own study tools, my own methods, but it's thorough. So when you come with something spiritual, I can pretty much rest assured that your other information is tied to it and linked to it. It ain't got to be 100% correct, but it's that you understand it and you walking in your truth, and your light is shining, and it's a beacon. And people listening, and we appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Salute to you.
I appreciate you too, brother.
In a real way, that was deep too. Right there, you said, OG, when you was talking that connection with the trees, the tribe, the southeastern tribe, they used to bury they ancestors in trees. You feel me? So yeah, that was deep right there. But man, I want to appreciate you giving us the time tonight to come through and build with us, man. Shout out to the homie Chief of Chief for making that happen, putting that together. I'm definitely gonna tap back in with you, man. And if you give us another time to shine, this our backup channel over here. They shot me down over there on that Kanye. I played the Kanye video. They shot me down for it on my other channel, but I definitely want to make that connection though. Bring you back on, man. Come rock out with us, man. We're a community, man. American Indians from all over, and we trying to put it back and preserve our ancestors, man. Our truths here, our family connection. We real big on genealogy, telling our story, knowing what happened to us. Going back in our genealogy, finding our our family migrations, anybody fought in wars, armies, and putting our story back together. And it's real good to have an OG like you to come through. And especially to be standing on indigenous paradigm, but definitely having that connection, you know, to come, you know, have these messages that you do have. You feel me? So definitely want to appreciate you coming through, rocking with us, man. I hope this ain't the only time. You got some last words or some last words to the people? Hold on, I do have a question for you. If you wanted anybody to know anything about you know, Rod Hayes when this is over with, you know, what would that be? When you're done with your journey, when you know you did your work, how would you want to be remembered?
I would like for them to be like, when nobody else couldn't see it, he seen it and told us and walked us to the promised land. That right there, that's enough. Once we wake up, if I'm responsible in any kind of way, just remember that I had played a part, but I stood on the shoulders of many giants in order to see what I see. I didn't get here by myself. I didn't do this alone. It was many of us. And many of the elders left many clues for me to put the shit together. And I was perceptive enough to listen to the elders of our people and override the miseducation of the invaders on the land. And I brought us back to an understanding of who we were. I was a contributing factor, but I wasn't the only factor. That's how I would like to be remembered.
That's deep, man. Appreciate your time, OG, man. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night.
Man,
And
I had a blast, man. I enjoyed the conversation. I'm grateful for the invite. We can reach more of our people when we start networking like this. So I'll be glad to come back. Just let me know when you need me. And all feathers up.
in a real way. With that being